Hey there, adventure seekers. The Haute Route in the French Alps is a breathtakingly beautiful trek. But what happens when the beauty turns deadly? The harrowing tale of the deadly mountain tragedy that struck in 2018 will leave you on the edge of your seat. Today, we'll take you on a journey through the French Alps and discover the shocking story of how a group of experienced hikers fell victim to a deadly mountain tragedy. From unexpected weather conditions to human error, uncover the events that led to this devastating incident and learn the valuable lessons gleaned from it. But first, let's talk about Haute Route. The Haute Route is a world-renowned ski mountaineering adventure that traverses the Alps from Chamonix in France to Zermatt in Switzerland. It covers approximately 120 miles and crosses 11 mountain passes, offering skiers the chance to experience some of Europe's most beautiful and challenging terrain. During the summer of 2018, a band of seasoned mountaineers set out on an adventure to walk the entirety of the Haute Route, which is located in the Alps of France. The difficult Haute Route walk begins in Chamonix and continues all the way to Zermatt, covering a distance of nearly 180 kilometers and gaining a total of 12,000 meters in elevation. There were a total of 10 people in the hiking party, including 2 guides. They had been preparing for this challenging excursion for several months. The Haute Route is a well-known hiking trail that traverses the Alps between France and Switzerland. It's considered one of the most difficult treks in the region. The route is known for its steep and challenging terrain, with hikers ascending and descending treacherous mountain passes, glaciers, and rocky ridges. The journey requires endurance, physical strength, mental fortitude, and a thorough understanding of the environment and the weather conditions in the mountains. The 10 hikers who embarked on this journey were experienced mountaineers who had spent months training and preparing for the trek. They had carefully chosen their equipment and supplies and developed a comprehensive plan for the journey that included multiple contingency plans in case of emergency. The guides who accompanied them were also experienced mountaineers, trained in first aid and emergency response, and they were familiar with the Haute Route and the surrounding terrain. The group set out from Chamonix in high spirits, eager to begin their adventure. The first few days of the trek were relatively uneventful, with the group traversing the rocky terrain and ascending to higher elevations. They took breaks and enjoyed the stunning vistas, with the snow-capped peaks of the Alps stretching out in all directions. As the days went on, the group encountered more challenging terrain, with steep ascents and descents that required careful navigation. They crossed glaciers and narrow ridges, and they often had to rope up for safety. Despite the difficulty of the trek, the group remained focused and determined, buoyed by the camaraderie and support of their fellow hikers. Pinet d'Arolla is a mountain that stands 3,796 meters above sea level, and on the 4th day of the hike, the party hiked to the top of the mountain and reached the summit. They were moving down the mountain in the direction of the Dix hut, where they intended to stay for the night. On the other hand, while they were making their way down, an unexpected storm suddenly came in, bringing with it blustery gusts and persistent rain. The guides swiftly made the determination that the group needed to seek refuge in a neighboring mountain refuge once it became clear that they were in imminent danger. Unfortunately, the refuge was closed because it was undergoing renovations, so the hikers had no choice but to keep moving towards the Dix hut, which was still quite a distance away. As they descended the mountain, the storm became worse, and the group was hit by lightning and hail as it became increasingly difficult for them to see. A number of the hikers sustained injuries, and one of their numbers passed away at the scene of the accident. The remaining hikers were forced to continue their descent in the thick of the storm, and in an attempt to reach the Dix hut as quickly as possible. They didn't have another option. The visibility was practically non-existent, and the paths were slick from the rain and hail that had fallen earlier. They were also having trouble carrying the injured members of their group who needed medical attention. This was a challenge for them. The troop arrived at the Dick's hut after a harrowing journey lasting several long hours. However, because of the storm's intensity, rescue crews could not get to them in time to save them. The blizzard prompted the hikers to take shelter in the hut, which had no electricity, heating, or phone signal, and they had to wait out the storm. They had no way of communicating with the rest of the world at all. The hikers' worries about their own well-being increased in intensity with the passing of the hours. They were getting dangerously low on food and drink, and the group members who had been injured were losing strength by the minute. The hikers did their best to look out for one another, sharing their few supplies and huddling together for warmth when the weather worsened. Despite the hopeless circumstances they found themselves in, they made an effort to keep each other's spirits up by encouraging one another. It wasn't until the next day that the weather improved to the point where rescue workers could get to the hikers in need of assistance. At that point, 3 group members had already lost their lives due to exposure to the elements and becoming hypothermic. Others had also sustained severe injuries, including bone fractures and frostbite, in addition to other painful conditions. The catastrophe that unfolded on the Haute Route was a grim reminder of the dangers that come with hiking in the mountains. The impact of the tragedy was felt far beyond the borders of France, sending shockwaves throughout the global hiking community. The event served as a stark reminder of the importance of being adequately prepared for any eventuality when venturing into the great outdoors. The survivors were left to grapple with the trauma of their experience, while the families and loved ones of those who lost their lives mourned their tragic loss. The incident was a poignant reminder that even the most experienced and well-trained hikers can fall victim to the dangers of the natural world. The investigation into the tragedy on the Haute Route brought to light a number of mistakes made by the hiking party and their guides. One of the most significant issues was their lack of preparedness for the sudden storm that struck during their descent from Pinet d'Arolla. While they had been prepared for some weather challenges, they were not equipped to handle the intense storm that swept in. The group had also not taken into consideration the possibility of a change in weather conditions during their hike, despite the fact that such changes are commonplace in the Alps. The guides had not made an adequate plan for what to do if a severe storm hit, and they did not have a contingency plan for seeking refuge. Furthermore, the guides made a crucial error in judgment when they led the group down a dangerous path instead of taking a safer and longer route to the Dick's hut. The guides were aware of the high-risk nature of the path they chose, but they decided to take it anyway, believing that the group would be able to make it down safely. This decision ultimately led to the deaths of 4 of the hikers. The investigation found that the guides were not adequately trained to handle the extreme conditions they faced and were inexperienced in leading groups through challenging mountain terrain. They had not gone through the appropriate training and certification process required for leading groups through such difficult terrain. The tragedy on the Haute Route was a stark reminder of the importance of proper planning and preparation when hiking in the mountains. It also highlighted the significance of being poorly equipped for any changes in weather conditions that may arise. The investigation resulted in several new safety protocols being implemented for hiking groups, including the requirement for more extensive training and certification for mountain guides. Thank you for watching this video. If you found this content interesting, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest uploads. Also, don't forget to leave a comment down below to share your thoughts and opinions about this tragedy. We appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more captivating content in the future.